The price of Bitcoin is $28,305, and as it sits right now, my trades are back in a profit. Let me explain how that happened and why it's happening. Yesterday, you may have seen I was $13,000 in a loss on my Bitcoin trade, and a lot of you said, oh, you must have been liquidated because of your liquidation point. But no, that's why you use proper position management. My liquidation point changes because my liquidity within my account is flexible. I added some more margin. We did not get liquidated. It bounced back to the upside because I could sense in the markets that basically the problem was yesterday, too many people went long when Bitcoin's price had gone back up. That meant that there was too much of an attraction for the market makers to drag the price of Bitcoin back down. It caused a quick bunch of liquidations. I knew that I would get caught up in that bunch of liquidations if I did not do something about it. So I added more margin because I couldn't close the trade. I was not taking a $25,000 loss down at the bottom. So I added more margin and dropped back down, bumped back up. We're all good. Now, in terms of how that looks right now, these are the current open trades. I've opened two more trades today. The Bitcoin trade is, of course, a $1.2 million, $1.3 million Bitcoin trade. Currently $1,000 in a profit. Basically, it's at my entry. The current price being $28,250, whatever, and it's like $25 above my entry, something like that. The other two trades that I've opened are Dogecoin and Glimmer. I've taken only a $10,000 long position on Dogecoin because A, I know I'm FOMOing in at this point. However, I do think that having no leverage, like if you actually look at the amount of leverage that I'm using on this Dogecoin trade, I'm actually using 0.13x leverage. So I'm not using any leverage really on this trade. I think it's worthwhile me just having some more Dogecoin. I have a lot of Dogecoin already in a wallet that I can't access because I used to mine it on my computer. And by the way, if you want to learn how to mine Dogecoin, some of that information is actually already available on cryptosavingexpert.com. You can mine it from your computer just clicking a few buttons. Anyway, check it out, cryptosavingexpert.com. Point is, I've gone long on Dogecoin, bit A, because I want to FOMO into that position, but B, because I think it's going to be a long-term good one because of what Elon has done recently with Twitter. If I actually open up a page on Twitter and scroll to the top, you'll see that right now on Twitter, Doge is the logo, which is a pretty interesting thing to see. It's not something that we've ever seen before on Twitter, just an interesting little tidbit. But anyway, when it comes down to the price of Bitcoin and how that's performing, I'm going to get onto my Glimmer trade in just a second. But when you're talking about the price of Bitcoin right now, this is the analysis that I did in yesterday's video. As it was sitting, we've got an inverse head and shoulders formation, and there is two things that can happen here. We either lose the downside of this diamond pattern and drop significantly to the downside. We faked out yesterday, but we closed above it. So from my perspective, that more likely means we're going to break to the upside within the next probably 12 hours, potentially today, more likely on... I mean, what day is it today? Is it Tuesday or Wednesday? It's Tuesday today. So it's probably more likely going to happen on Wednesday. Big market moves don't tend to happen on Tuesdays. Just in my experience, just anecdotal evidence, nothing really that you should read into. Anything can happen on any day. But in terms of how I'm looking at this right now, I wouldn't really be expecting a big break today. I mean, why not continue this consolidation? We've been in this range now for a long period of time. It feels like forever waiting for this trade to pay off. Yeah, there we go. 16 days of trading in this range. It does get a little bit boring at points, but at the same time, things are headed to the upside. Everything is looking pretty decent right now. So what are the levels of which to be watching on the price of Bitcoin before we go over, discuss the price of Ethereum and look at what's happening on the altcoin market? By the way, if you're not already, do drop a like on today's video and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that, especially if you are new. My name is Jordan. I trade cryptocurrencies here on the internet every day. Sometimes we make money, sometimes we lose money, but overall, I wouldn't be where I am right now here in the Bahamas if it was not profitable to be doing what I'm doing, which it is because I'm a professional. Anyway, point is, and again, if you are interested in trading, click on the screen somewhere up here. You'll find a link for a trading tutorial if you just press the I in the top corner of the screen. Anyway, back to the price of Bitcoin. What are the price levels of which to watch? Well, for that, we need to drop down onto a lower time frame. I also want to point out what is currently going on with the VWAP, which we currently have hidden here. The VWAP, for me, one of the other key reasons why I added liquidity when we were down at the bottom yesterday was because we were trading below the bottom of the VWAP. It made no sense. So I added liquidity when we dropped down to 27,600. I was like, damn, that looks decent in terms of, I wish I could buy more here. So I added liquidity. I saw that we would wick to the downside, covered that off, and then we pumped all the way back to the upside. So what are the levels of which to be watching? Well, the VWAP is saying, look, this is looking pretty decent right now. This is looking very, very bullish. In terms of zones of liquidity, it's also looking very, very good, to be honest. And so Yeah, no, look at that. If we break above this range, there really is no resistance coming out of here. So to be honest, we only need a key break of about $28,500, currently sitting at $28,287. In reality, it only needs to be a break of $28,430 whatever, but just call it for safe reasons, $28,500. A break of that level should cause Bitcoin's price to pump up to 29K, and at 29K, a break of 29K, which would be a break of about this level right here. We've been rejected from it a couple of times recently, but a key break of $29,000 would mean that Bitcoin's price then rallies to about $31,500, because that is the key liquidation point for a lot of people that have been shorting Bitcoin over the past couple of weeks. A lot of people's liquidation points seem to sit at approximately $31,500. Another thing that sits at $31,500, if I'm to show you the chart, is actually quite funny. This is some old analysis that I put in. It says buy here, and that's referencing some points down here, which is pretty funny. Anyway, the point is, $31,500 on the chart sits about these levels. And to be honest, if we start blasting through 31,000, there's no real resistance here. I mean, liquidation point sits at 31,500, but we've got no real resistance until you're getting back into this range here around $38,000, $39,000. So there's no real reason why Bitcoin wouldn't hit $40,000 this month. I think it's perfectly reasonable to say that Bitcoin will hit $40,000 this month. And I think that a lot of people think that's absurd. I was saying this last year, by the way, and I was loading up on Bitcoin. I sold my Lamborghini, bought the dip with every single penny that I had, and now it's sitting pretty. Everything is going pretty well right now, apart from on a couple of altcoins. So let's cover a couple of altcoins, then go over to the price of Bitcoin, and just look at some of the things that are going on in the real world. So one of the altcoins that's not going particularly well right now, but it's going amazingly from my entry, but not amazingly from everybody's entry. But that's because you all just keep selling. I've not been selling this at all. I just keep buying more and more of it. Who do you think is providing the buying pressure every day for your sales? I've also got some more bids down here. In fact, it looks like some of those might have been filled overnight. Did that drop down to 19 sats overnight? Did I get my orders filled? Let's have a look at that. Did it drop down? No, it didn't. It didn't drop down to my entry. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. It's not loading the full chart here on Bittrex, which is a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. Either way, tap for me. You're going to regret it in terms of... I'm very confident on this one. Very, very, very confident. It's just a matter of time. And you'll see. You'll see. I know things. Anyway, point is, tap looks decent. Another coin that looks decent right now is Daffy. Another one is Caps. I keep buying all of which. I think this one is showing currently the price of Caps. What is Caps price currently? It's only down at 3 cents now, which is, again, not perfect, not amazing, but it is what it is. I mean, from my perspective, it is at the lowest range that it's been in a very, very, very long time. When I put my video out about Caps, the price was like 4 cents or something. So it's below the price of which I made my video, which is a pretty rare one, to be honest. So I'm buying. Again, it's one of them things. You've got to be a buyer when everybody else is a seller. And you've got to be a seller when everybody else is a buyer. That's how you play the game. Some people just don't get it. Anyway, moving on, back to the price of Ethereum. As I said, we would explain. As I've been pointing out for the past few days, Ethereum is starting to break to the upside in terms of its Ethereum Bitcoin value. That likely means that an altcoin bull market is probably within like a week. At this point, it's probably not going to be that long before we see altcoins really starting to pop. And then it's a question of which altcoins are going to pop. From my perspective, I have my own picks. I think I know which ones are going to pop. And the market is heating up very, very nicely for that, as well as the fact that I discovered about 3 months ago another coin that I think is going to do 100x. At that point in time, I started doing some very heavy research on it. I've made a 28-page research document that I'm going to publish to the internet at some point. And when I publish that document, everyone will read it, which will be very interesting to see how the market reacts to that research document. And of course, I'll put a video out there at some point. So yeah, there's another 100x on the horizon. I think that the next one, I'm excited about it. You'll understand why. I'm not going to go into it because I'll end up saying something that I shouldn't say, and then you'll all figure it out beforehand. And it's not a guessing game on this one. I'm not going to give any clues away at all. You all get the same kind of, just put your channel notifications on. That's all you need to do. Channel notifications on and subscribe to the channel. Anyway, in terms of Ethereum's value, that's the S&P 500, of which I said would pump again today. It's currently up again just a little bit. But where is the value of Ethereum gone? This is the DXY. The DXY is going down again today, as we explained in the past. Where is the value of Ethereum versus USD? Yeah, it's approaching a breakout. This is looking really, really, really nice. I keep on getting emails, which is really frustrating. Either way, looking looking at this right now, we are currently on the cusp of a bit of a breakout, to be honest. And if we break above these levels where we're currently literally sat on, and then we're going to break $2,000. At the point where Ethereum is breaking $2,000, Bitcoin's not going to be sat still. The market is headed for a very interesting time. And I think that if Ethereum runs, altcoins are going to run. At the same time, we're also seeing bank stocks decline in price again today. What is Deutsche Bank doing? Deutsche Bank is currently up 0.1%, but First Republic is down -3%. So that's two interesting things. And I guess the final thing that I need to discuss is, of course, the DXY. I already pointed it out very briefly, but the DXY is trending to the downside today. This is the hourly chart, and it appears to be finding some very, very weak levels of support. When the DXY loses those levels of support, which are currently sitting at about 101.8, when it loses 101.8 here on the chart, which is down at the bottom, as you can see here, Bitcoin's going to run really, really hard. It's why I want my positions open. Now, a couple more things to point out would be that, of course, Jamie Dimon is currently saying that the banking crisis is not over and will cause repercussions for years to come. Don't ignore the man. The man runs a bank. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to banking crises because he's partially responsible himself. And if he thinks the banking crisis is going to last for a long time, it will likely last for a very long time. At the same time, what is going to happen during that period of time? People are going to find alternative ways of storing cash that doesn't involve giving it to a bunch of cocaine-riddled bankers. Then we've got Treasury yields rise slightly as traders assess potential for further Fed rate hikes. And on that note, I wanted to show you what is going on here with regards to the probabilities for a next Fed rate hike. Now, currently as it sits, there's a 41.3% chance there is no Federal Reserve rate hike the next time on the 3rd of May 2023 when they have their next meeting. Currently, the date is the 4th of April, so they're not going to have another rate hike meeting for around 1 month. So it's going to be a while of trading before we have another rate hike, but at the same time, 58% chance of a 0.25% rate hike. So as it sits right now, the market is unsure of which one's going to happen, but either way, both of those options are much better than what we've been experiencing recently. I'm very, very bullish on my trades. I think my trades are going to work out really well. And I had said that I'd explain the Glimmer trade. I explained it in a previous video. $61,000 long position on Glimmer. Currently $1,438 in profit. Don't forget, of course, if you are interested in trading, check out BYBIT. You'll find a link for it in today's video description. It is the exchange of which I trade on. You'll also find a trading tutorial that is linked to the top of today's video description as well. I'd highly recommend you do the tutorial before you even place a trade ever. Make sure you just do the bare minimum of education. I am a professional at the end of the day. Professionals make money. People that aren't professionals tend not to make money. And that's more so to do with emotional trading and emotional decisions and not thinking about things in a matter-of-fact way. If you have been around the block as many times as what I have, you just end up, because you know that you'll make money, you just end up caring slightly less. And when you care slightly less, you tend to make slightly better decisions. That's the kind of way that I would read into it. Anyway, $28,268 is the current price. In terms of my Glimmer trade, I wanted to show you that, so I need to find it on here. There we go. I think that this is going to break to the upside significantly. This is one of my picks for the next altcoin bull run. And if you're looking at the price of it, like it's been up at $7, $8 in the past. But if we zoom all the way onto like a more recent chart and wait for the scale to reset, you can see that it's pretty much right down at the bottom again. Hence why I think going long with $60,000 on Glimmer right now. If it was to go back up to its all-time high, then that would be insane. But say it gets back up to like $3, $4 from here, that's like a 500 grand profit from a $60,000 long position, of which I'm using about $5,000 of margin to fund. So like it's one of them. It'll go right. It's not going to break below its floor. I'm pretty confident in the trade. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe, like this video. I would appreciate that. Let's try and get 1,000 likes, and have a fantastic Tuesday. Yeah, check out links in today's video description. Goodbye.